You're watching Leap Mag here at the LCS European Spring Finals, and with me I have Deilor, coach of Fnatic. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, hello.
Right off the bat, obviously, congratulations with what was a very hectic couple of games, but ultimately a very convincing victory in the end. I won't bother asking you how you feel because I can imagine the answer is great. So instead, I'm just going to jump right into it. I mean, facing off an opponent like, Unicorns of Love, who have a reputation of being pretty much the Spanish Inquisition of League of Legends, nobody expects them. How do you go into a match like that? How do you prepare to face such an opponent?
Okay, the thing is, even though they look like they have weird picks, weird strategies, all of this, they basically have a couple of like macro strategies. Like their team works in this way. Like maybe they have three options. So even though you can see like Varus mid, like a weird pick and things like this, if Varus can be Kog'Maw or can be Ziggs or can be, but if they are playing like tank wave clear mid laner, it's basically the same thing. Even if you don't get like off because of the pick, if you understand how the team comp works, then it's fine. You don't need like a super special preparation because they do weird stuff. If you understand how they play as a team, then it doesn't really matter what the picks are.
Okay, it sounds like you cracked the code that many can't. Saying that though, you have somewhat of an unorthodox team yourself, a bit of a mixed bag if we say. Having two players who don't only present potential language issues, you also have Rookie of the Year and one player who just made history for being the only player to go to the finals in all 5 splits. How do you whip a team like that, who's also fairly new to each other? How do you whip them into shape for something like this, the Spring Finals?
Okay, the thing is, I feel like I'm very lucky because when I came to the team, on paper it doesn't look too strong because, as you said, we had 2 Koreans, also we had 2 French, one guy. So what happened at the beginning is that we had like the bot lane speaking French and then jungle top speaking Korean inside the game. So this can be a problem, but when I arrived there, they already had like a synergy built without knowing each other. So what we saw like in the first weeks of the LCS, our team fighting style, this was just like a natural thing. So I tried from the beginning, I just tried to play to our strengths. So I didn't overcomplicate the things and just try to play from our strengths and learn from our strengths. Okay, so how to like whip them and make them be prepared for the finals? It's not like I can give you like one answer. It's just a long process that everyone has to be working hard in all the LCS, and each time we lose a match, we need to learn from the loss and grow mentally, individually, and grow as a team. So from the beginning that we had a simple play style, we've been growing through the split, just working super hard, and then you reach this point.
Okay, looking at your team, taking a player like Huni for top, I mean, Rookie of the Year is quite impressive, but at the same time he showed why with an absolutely devastating Hecarim that the opposition failed to shut down. How do you think the meta pick in that was? How do you control a player like that?
Okay, it's not like you can control a player. In this case, it's just the champion, and in this particular case, it was the 2v2. Okay, so we had Gragas jungle, they had Udyr, and the top laner was Irelia, I think.
Yes.
Okay, so the thing is, we know that Udyr is going to gank after red buff, so probably is going to gank top. So if we dodge that gank, then we're free to go because free to gank top. So if we know the timings of their ganks, then in the 2v2, in the 2v1, we can dive, as you see, like I think Gragas was level 3 or something like this when we dive the first time, and if the first time works, it's just a snowball, so you cannot control it. But in that case, it's just understanding what the enemy jungler want to do, understand the strengths and the weaknesses of the 2v2, 2v1, just choosing the right spot to do the move. So it's not like you can control the player. In this case, you have to understand the picks and then understand, like, control the picks and how they work.
All right, well, speaking of picks, how do you guys do that as a team? I mean, on some teams the coach calls in, on some teams the players kind of go with their gut feeling. How do you guys balance that issue? I mean, do you just listen blindly to your players or trust, or do you try to guide them into the best picks?
Okay, you mean in game, when we're in game?
Picks and pans.
Okay, so when we're in game, I will always have like an idea of what I want to draft, depending on of all their picks, what they can do. So when we go into the game, we've already talked about this. I've got my ideas, then we share our ideas. Maybe I say, okay, this is not good, this is good. I go with something. We go into the game, and I say, okay, these are the bans. Our first pick can be maybe like one of 5 champs. Okay, so they ban. We first pick, then we go. So it's like I have my idea. I always, all the time, I'm talking with them. Okay, I want to do this. What do you think about this? You're feeling comfortable with champ, and sometimes it just gets a mess, and I've got the last call. Okay, at the beginning of the split, we had some problems because in the draft, sometimes it gets really hectic because some people want to pick something, others I want to play something different. And finally we decided that I want to do it from the beginning, but we decided that it was the best thing for the team. So it's like a democracy. Everyone talks, and like I always try to understand how every player is feeling or what they want to play. And in the end, if it's getting really chaotic, I tend to pick. But also in chaotic situations, I tend to pick what players are comfortable with. Okay, not forcing something that I feel that they will be uncomfortable in the game.
Okay, well, very insightful. Well, once again, congratulations and thank you very much for joining us. For the rest of you, for more information here on the LCS European Spring Finals, stay tuned with leaguemag.com. Actually, keep the .com bit, otherwise you can be looking forever. Ta.